Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's EBC video. We are in Anchorage, Alaska this week, and I'm standing here actually overlooking the water in Anchorage as the sunset starts to go down here. You're going to have a little bit of a hard time seeing it, but there's mountains in the background there. You can see one of them there. There's even bigger ones that are really white with snow. It is a gorgeous, fantastic view. We're going to be using this view to be thinking a little bit about John 2 verses 13 to 22. Now, in John, Jesus is going to the temple, and when he gets to the temple, he sees all sorts of buying and selling and a marketplace going on, and it's really kind of a surprising story here because Jesus actually takes a whip and drives people out of the temple and says they should not be turning the temple into a marketplace. All right, and then what happens is that the Jews in the temple ask him, hey, do us a sign so that we know that you would be doing these things with authority. And I just want to pause on that for just a moment. What is it that we look for when we're looking for signs of God? How about these incredible views that we've got tonight, the mountains and the sunset happening? But sometimes, we actually have a real tendency to be looking for just the things that we want to look for in the signs from God. And I kind of think that's what this story reminds me of, is that moment when, as Jesus is throwing people out of the temple and they're wondering, like, why is he doing this? You'd better show us something to prove to us that you should be doing it. I think we do that a little bit. Sometimes we're like, hey, God, maybe just give me something in particular to prove to me that what's happening right now is for me and about me and what you want for me. And I don't think that's the way those sorts of signs work, right? It's about faith. It's about finding those signs out in the middle of anywhere, out in the middle of Anchorage, Alaska, with this beautiful sunset that's happening at the same time, right? And Jesus says, anyway, he says, actually, I will give you a sign. And he says the sign is going to be, I'm going to destroy this temple and raise it again in 3 days. And of course, everyone looks around and like, this temple's been taking decades to build. You're not going to destroy it and build it again in 3 days. We all know, of course, that he's talking about himself, about the fact that he's going to die and he's going to be raised again. But what we also know in this particular instance is that the disciples don't quite get it until later. Until later on, they remember it after Jesus actually died and then been risen again. So as you're thinking about signs, think about it from this perspective. Sometimes we don't see them until after it's all happened. Sometimes they're right in front of us. This one, everybody, this one's right in front of us. Have a great week.